Hi and welcome to this video. The purpose here is to demonstrate some of the new feature of the Font Selector Blender add-on. It's now in version 2.0, still in beta version. It's only available for 2.7x series of Blender. The point here is to get some user feedbacks, to polish it, and then to start the process of porting it to Blender 2.8. So let's take a look. You have to install it like any other Blender add-on. Here it's already done, so let's activate the 2.0 version. Let's take a look at the preferences. Here the external preference path. As usual, it's the folder where the external files needed by the add-on will be stored. By default, it's in the config folder of your current Blender installation. Here's the startup check. It will tell Blender what to do on startup because there's now a new feature which is auto update. Blender will look for changes in font folders you set up, and if there's any, it will automatically and transparently refresh the font list. If you choose message only, it will just show you a pop-up windows with an invitation to refresh the font list. So let's leave it like this. Here the progress bar. Another improvement is now the refresh operator is model 1, meaning you can continue working on Blender while the list is refreshing. And you will have a nice progress bar here in the properties panel. You can choose the color and the size of it. The number of font list rows is the minimal size of the fonts panel in the properties, and the font folders are of course the folders where Blender is going to search for fonts. Here it's a double toggle to have some extra info if you do some dev. So let's add a font folder. I'm on Windows, so the main one is here in C-Windows-Fonts. Let's accept that, and let's add another one for demonstration purposes, which is in desktop and name font other folder. Okay, let's save these user settings, and we can also save externally these two, meaning if you do that, we can reload them. Okay, so we're all done. Of course, now if we add text, we have the panel, but the list will be empty. So what to do here? You can either press this button, which will begin a refreshing of the font list, or restart Blender, and it will automatically on startup check for modification, and there is modification because there is no font list at all. So let's do it the normal way. You can see there's a nice progress bar here, and you can continue working on Blender while it's refreshing. You can, if you toggle the system console, see there's also a progress bar here. Okay, so let's wait for it to finish and do some stuff. Oh, just a little hint. Here you have a plus button with a bunch of helper for filtering, searching, and sorting. I'll show you this in a few minutes. Okay, so the list just refreshed. We can now start working on it. As usual, you just have to toggle between these fonts to dynamically change here on the active text object. An improvement I made is you can now do it on several fonts at the same time, several selected fonts, which is quite convenient when working on motion design video, for example. You can, with this little button, check for changes in font folders. Font folders are up to date, but if, for example, I go to my fonts, sorry for that. Okay, here the fonts other folder. So one of my font folders, I just delete one and check for changes. There are changes because I just deleted one font. So changes in font folder, refresh font list model, and you can refresh it right away. If you press escape right away, you can cancel this refreshing. So I canceled it. Let's cancel this one too. And yeah, here we have no changes at all. Okay, this little button is remove unused font, because if you take a look in on the vector font parts of your data block in the outliners, you can see right now there's just one loaded, but if you toggle, the add-on needs two data blocks to work, so one of them is of course unused, so let's do that. One unused font removed, and if you refresh this part, you can see there's just one, the one who is needed. So let's take a look at this part, which is an interesting improvement too. When you are working on a specific project, you can choose some specific font but not be sure whether you should install it or not, because you're not sure which one you're going to use. So here is the override feature of this add-on. You can go and choose a font folder, like here. I have a little font folder, just a few fonts specific to my project. So when you choose one, you have the name here, and nothing happened. You have to press this button, which is the override folder button, and it will toggle between your current normal lists and your override lists, and you can start take a look at your new fonts before installing them or whatever. And you can press here to toggle back to your usual fonts. Okay, so these are the good improvements, good news. And you can also have these parts displayed. You can, of course, search like Github, and you'll have a bunch of font filters. It's case insensitive now, it wasn't before. You have the normal subfolder button. If you choose one subfolder, it will only display the font from this particular subfolder. So yeah, quite convenient. You can also press this button when a subfolder is selected to open an external explorer or finder the subfolder in question. And you can filter here by a bunch of attributes, but we cannot see them right now because it's the minimal display mode. But here, with this little icon of an eye, I can choose what I am displaying. So let's display all the options here. You have three options. The first one is the subfolders. So yeah, you can see all the subfolders of the fonts. You can also toggle this one, is the fake user button. basically you just have the ability to toggle it by being on the particular fonts, and it will make this font fake user. So if you take a look at your data block fonts and you toggle this one, the Pro Italic is kept because it's like any other data block in Blender. When it's fake user, it's kept and it will be kept in the saved project. I think it's quite convenient because it allows you to make some kind of per project favorites. So yeah, I try to do the best of this feature with this feature. So you can toggle it on and off, and you can also toggle the favorites. Favorites are externally stored, meaning in whatever project you'll be in Blender, if the Font Selector add-on is working, these favorites will be displayed, and you can filter by favorites, filter by fake user, or by both. And yeah, it goes on and on. You can also invert the filtering here, so it will display everything but this filtering. So everything but this, you can continue on and on with this. Another thing here is the sorting part. You can sort alphabetically. It's the default behavior here. You can invert the sorting, so it's alphabetically invert, and you can also sort by font folders and subfolders. So you have all alphabetically ordered font from the first one and the second one. It goes on and on. Alright, so I think this is about it. Let's make quick demonstration of the startup check. So let's just do some changes in this font. I delete one. This is one of my font folders which I set up in the preference of the add-on. And let's start Blender again and see. And yeah, it just started. The check update thing is going great, and you can start working with Blender, start adding some text, waiting for it to finish, and when it's finished, it will update. So yeah, that's about it. I hope you liked these new features, and don't hesitate to give some feedback to make it better before the real stable version. Cheers!